So this, my opening chapter, has to stop with humbly begging everybody's pardon. From Faber first, in case the book's a flop.
Lass, from the general public, you must beg permission now and then to pull their leg.
Then, let the good citizen find here natural marvels. A horseshoe ravine, the issue of steam from a cleft in the...
Rocks.
And waterfall brushing
The rocks.
And among
the rocks.
Birds. The bath of a great historian.
The rock.
Where an outlaw dreaded the dark. Islands are...
Rocks.
No! Places. A part where Europe is absent.
Are they?
The world still is the present, the lie, and the narrow bridge over a torrent, or the small farm under a crag. I suppose.
The blood moves also by crooked and furtive inches, asks all our questions. Where is the homage? When shall justice be done? Oh, who is against me? Why am I always alone?
Dear Christopher, thank you for your letter.
I can't quite picture your arrival. What was your impression of Reykjavik Harbour? Is there any attempt to make the visitor feel that he is arriving at the capital city?
Not much.
Well, what does Reykjavik look like?
There is no good building stone. There is one peak, which is always bright pink.
What about the sex life?
Uninhibited.
Is there a typical kind of Icelandic humour?
Difficult to understand without inside knowledge.
What feelings did your visit give you about life on a small island?
The truth is, we are both only really happy living among lunatics.
You and I know very well the immediate reason why I came to Iceland. 3 months ago or so, Wiston said he was planning to go to Iceland to write a book. And would I come too? And I said yes, having nothing better to do.
How nice to be born a man.
I have come up north gaily running away from the grinding gears, the change from day to day, the creaks of the familiar room, the smile of the cruel clock, the bills upon the fire.
Fire?
File.
Among these
Rocks.
can roll upon the tongue, morsels of thought not jostled by the throng. Here, we can practice forgetfulness without a sense of guilt, fear of the tout and lout, and here...
But Wiston has butted in again to say that we must go out in the frightful rain to see a man about a horse. And so I shall have to stop. Perhaps you'll let us know if anything happens in the world below.
We're entering now the eotechnic phase, thanks to the grid and all these new alloys. But let me say before it has to go,
This author says that the mountains are nothing more than sand and rock.
it's the most lovely country that I know.
Reykjavik is unquestionably the worst place.
Clearer than Scafell Pike, my heart has stamped on.
It is commonly reported that the bellowing of these sea bulls and sea cows make the cows ashore run mad.
The view from Birmingham to Wolverhampton.
Your region is often coarse and unpleasant.
Tram lines and slag heaps, pieces of machinery.
The Icelanders have no idea of outdoor amenity.
That was and still is my ideal scenery.
Hail to the new world. Hail to those who love its antiseptic objects. Feel at home. Feel at home.
Let's go home. We can't camp in this beastly place.
What is he saying?
I'm not gonna camp here.
You must. All Englishmen do.
Blast all Englishmen! My last remarks were sent you from a boat. I'm back on shore now, in a warm bed-sitter, and several friends have joined me since I wrote. So, though the weather out of doors is bitter, I feel a great deal cheerier and fitter.
We're starting soon on a big expedition into the desert, which I'm sure is corking. Many would like to be in my position.
I only hope there won't be too much walking. Besides, I'm very fond of mountains too. I like to travel through them. In a car.
I like a house that's got a sweeping view. I like to walk.
But not to walk too far.
That man's no centre of the universe, and working in an office makes it worse. Some of the party look as pleased as punch. We shall be travelling, as they call it, light. We'll be sleeping in a tent tonight. You know what Baden-Powell's taught us, don't you? Or a pro nobis, please, this evening. Won't you?
How embarrassing it is to get into an already crowded bus when the passengers have already got to know each other. Oh. Sweets were passed around. Sick streamed past the windows. Ugh.
It took us 4 hours to go just 42 kilometres. And I'd run out of cigarettes, so I sulked into my waistcoat.
In the bus today, I had a bright idea about this travel book. I brought a Byron with me to Iceland, and I suddenly thought I might write him a chatty letter in light verse about anything I could think of. Europe, literature, myself. This letter in itself will have very little to do with Iceland, but will be rather a description of an effect of travelling in distant places, which is to make one reflect on one's past and one's culture from the outside.
In the afternoon, we rowed to Trevartin and took a boat out onto the lake. It turned out a wonderful evening, and we sat on an island and threw stones and waved at a girl in a bungalow on the shore. It took us about an hour to catch Ragnar's horse, which tried to kick or bite whenever you went anywhere near it. But we got home at last and spent the evening playing rummy, which I like because you can talk while you play. His father, the daughter, had all the luck, and I discovered I'm a very bad loser.
A ship again, heading for England's pleasant pastures green. Pro tem I've done with the Icelandic scene.
I watch the hills receding in the distance. I hear the thudding of an engine's pistons.
I hope I'm better, wiser for the trip. I've had the benefit of northern breezes, the open road, and good companionship. I've seen some very pretty little pieces, and though the luck was almost all Macneice's, I've spent some jolly evenings playing rummy. I've learnt to ride. At least to ride a pony. Taken a lot of healthy exercise on barren mountains and in valleys stony.
Rocks.
Whoa! I've tasted a hot spring. A taste was wise. And foods a man remembers till he dies. All things considered, I consider Iceland, apart from Reykjavik, a very nice land.
In pleasures of the mind we both delighted. The library in the study was enough to make a better boy than he short-sighted. Our old cook Ada surely knew her stuff. We lived at Solihull, a village then. Those gasworks were my favourite men. Now the winter nights begin. Lonely comforts wall me in. So, before the memory slip, I review our Iceland trip. And the Donning you replied that the north begins inside. So although no ghost was scotched, we were happy while we watched, with fear of loneliness and uncommunicableness. All the wiser cup, my friend, live beyond its severed ends. Rows of books around me stand, fence me round on either hand. Through that forest of dead words, I would hunt the living birds.
Thank you very much.